let's begin with silence. We all close our eyes and align our mind and body. Be present. Just be witness to the thoughts that's coming to your mind. Do not engage. Allow them to just come and go. Be the watcher. Okay. So where do we begin? We begin with the Upanishad, or we begin with the question? Remember the question that was put in the WhatsApp group? So much of silence. The question was how to get rid of this attachment. So there was a quote posted by Komalji: if I'm attached to a belief, to furniture, to a house, to a person, in that attachment is the root of fear. And the question is how to get rid of attachment. So would you like to begin with this question, or would you like to start with the Upanishad that we left? Because Shilji, who asked this question, is yet not here.
Well, I think we can go with the question.
We can go
That
with the
way,
question.
yeah, it will give everybody a little clarity since everyone looked at the question as well as me.
Yeah. If you read the entire quote, let me just share the quote once. Can you see this? If I am attached to a belief, to furniture, to a house, to a person, in that attachment is the root of fear. Belief is something that we give our life to. What do you believe in? I believe in this, I believe in that. It's kind of the anchor that we all look for, and that's what everybody advises. You must believe in yourself, you must believe in the process, you must believe in the formula of existence, etc., etc. And here is Krishnamurti, J. Krishnamurti, who is equating belief to furniture, something which plays certain role, but it is not central to anybody's life. Even if the furniture goes away, even if the furniture breaks, even if the furniture gets discolored, it does not really impact who am I. And then he goes ahead. He equates it to a house. So furniture is a smaller entity, house is a bigger entity, and then he is equating it to a person. So me getting attached to a person. And he's saying all this, any kind of attachment, he is not at all discriminating between the kind of attachments. He's saying any kind of attachment, be it a belief which is literally glorified, or be it be the person that you feel attached to, because there are so many emotional vibrations that start happening, all the hormonal job starts happening, all the dopamine and everything starts to work. He says all this breed fear. They are the root of fear. Do we really look at attachment like that? That's my first question to you all. Do we really look at attachment like that?
Yes, teacher. Can you please tell the question again? Something is missing in the question from my side. What are you asking?
Krishnamurti is equating belief, house, furniture, person, all the attachment. He's saying all the attachments are the same. I'm asking, do we look at attachment to the belief that I have is very important, is very superior, but furniture is okay? Do we really are able to see the connect that all these things are creating in our life? Do we see that all these things, from things, the non-living things, to a person who actually is an image for us? A person is nobody but an image for us. And I think this is something that we must remember every time. We do not interact with a person, we interact with the image of the person that we have in our mind. So there is a lot of perception, there is a lot of prejudices. And and then there is belief. And you see the way belief is glorified. The
Right.
Even from the very child, and you are a life skill teacher, Komalji. I'm sure you also would be talking this in the class. You need to have self-belief.
Not much.
Not much. Wonderful.
I maybe am sometimes I'm telling it, but me myself don't believe it.
Wonderful.
As
and the way belief is glorified every place. If you look at modalities like neuro-linguistic programming, NLP, so you take away one belief, you install another belief.
Yes, yes.
And the entire field of hypnotherapy, typically this is happening.
And mainly religious beliefs and that political beliefs,
and
all
these
that
beliefs
also
are
gets
added
stuck
advantage. So from the belief of who am I am such and such person, this is my identity, and these identities are so important. And I believe in honesty, I believe in being authentic, I really do not know if I am authentic or not, but I believe in being authentic.
I is prominent here. No? If I is
So,
prominent, then beliefs will be prominent.
And Krishnamurti is saying belief is as false, or if I go and talk in the language of Shankaracharya, he will say belief is utna hi mal hai. No, mal is the what we excrete, the poop. Yeah. It is as much a poop equivalent to a poop as poop itself.
Right.
And then he says that all this breeds fear. All this breeds fear. They are the root of the fear. They are the root of the fear. Right. So the question that I had been asking was, do we really look at our belief like that? That even that when I say that I believe in myself, I am actually fearful, and that's why I have to believe in myself.
Right, you're right.
If there would be no fear, there would really be no need of believing.
Right.
Belief is a second-hand way of living. It's a borrowed way of living. Belief happens when you do not know. You don't have to believe that 2 + 2 is 4. You know that 2 + 2 is 4, and you can prove it in different ways.
It's your own experience. Actually.
Yeah. So there are assumptions that this is 2 and this is 2 and this is 4. But yes, still in the mathematical, so every language is based on assumption. So in the mathematical language of assumption, 2 + 2 is 4. You know it. You don't have to believe it. You will always believe. I believe there are good people in the world. Ensures that you have not met good people. Yeah? I believe that the world is worth living in. So you keep believing whatever you wish, whatever shit you wish.
Believe exactly opposite other beliefs, and they also say yes, this is right.
And to break one belief, you just need a better belief. That's all. That's the whole strength of a belief. If you want to break one belief, you just need one experience, and the entire belief is broken. I believed you are such a good friend of mine, and you see, all the belief is gone. Hey, I believed I'm such a good orator and I can't believe what I have done on the stage. All the belief is gone. So you just need a stronger experience or a bigger belief to break this existing belief. And Krishnamurti says all this is the root of attachment. So the question I was asking was, do we even look at things like belief and things like furniture and house and for people around us as somebody who is breeding fear in us, or things which are causing fear in us? Do we really look at them like that?
Many a times I do, many a times I get distracted sometimes, but many a times I do that also.
How about others?
Repeat that one time. I just got a little distracted.
Preeti, could you please be louder because not very clear voice. Okay. So then the question comes, how do I break this attachment? So if you look at the first level thing, it's very easy. Become aware that these are the attachment and know this rule that every attachment will breed fear. All the with every attachment, the fear is what is coming out. They are the roots of fear. However, the daily, the conditioning that we have.
You're afraid of losing it. That's why it creates fear. Because the very moment you are attached to something, you are in fear that if I am not, opposite of it comes in your mind. What will happen if this thing will go away from me? Because I am attached.
Correct. But the moment
it is very clear that it will bring fear.
With people, especially wherein there is dependency, this is little more obvious that if the person goes, my dependency is questioned, on whom will I depend? And so a fear can be seen, it can be felt, it can be experienced. One can become aware of it. But with furniture, with belief, where do we really see that dependency? Do we see? We don't. And hence, one needs to get into the root of conditioning. Until one comes to a platform wherein we start questioning everything that has to be done or not done. Why it should be done, why it should not be done, why am I thinking like this? Until that start to happen, an initial process is little painful because what the hell is this here? I'm questioning every damn thing in my life. But then this is how it starts. Because you want to become clear and you want to get rid of the attachments or the fear. And fear happens only for two reasons. Either you have a stake in it, as Komalji said, there is a stake which is which hence it costs us in some way. The second is, yeah, Vidya, I'll come to you. The second is there is an expectation, and there is a fear that the expectation might not get fulfilled. So these are the typical two scenarios wherein fear will be the outcome. So look at each of them a little closely. When there is an expectation, there is give and take. There is gain and loss. There is some profit. And then the moment we come into this duality of profit and loss, who would like losses? Everybody likes profit. Who would like to lose? We all are conditioned to win from the very beginning. And even when it is about loss, We say that I am willing to lose this because there is a bigger gain. You do not lose it for the sake of losing. You lose because for the sake of a bigger gain that could turn to be a loss if this smaller loss is gained. So gain and loss is playing in the mind all the time. Profit and loss is playing in the mind all the time. And till the time we do not distance ourselves with this understanding, and we can't see that this is okay, this is how it is going to play, and I am willing to let go of the stakes. The moment one allows to let go the stakes, then the relationship problem with the thing that changes. So for example, if I have a dependency factor with my spouse and I'm dependent, and hence there is a stake that because he is the one who earns and he is the one who runs the family and things like that, till the time that relationship is moving ahead because of that stake, and because my spouse is also dependent on me for certain things, and hence he is okay giving the salary to run the house and take care of things. So both are dependent in certain ways. The moment you allow this dependency to let go, that okay, I'm not going to operate from this center of dependency, the quality of relationship will change. Not that the relationship will go, the quality of relationship will change. Now you will see that you are able to respond in that relationship and not react. I tell this to my daughter all the time whenever she shouts. Why do you think somebody is attacking you? Because until you feel attacked, you will never shout. You can always stay calm. Shouting is the dhal that we all hold in order to protect ourselves. It's a shield to protect ourselves. And same happens in the relationship. So if we want to work on that attachment, then we will have to become conscious about which center we are operating from. And that is all then that matters. Yeah, Vidya, you wanted to say something.
I think you explained it all. That's what I was going to talk about too.
Okay.
When we are, I'm going to say it in a simpler language. When someone is attached to stuff like furniture, I'm going through this in my real life as well with my parents, and just looking at it, for them to just release and let it go, it makes them scared and anxious. They don't want to do it. It's hard for them to just let it go. So the way I look at it, it's due to their conditioning, how they were grown up, what they went through earlier years of their life, where there was lack. And now, even if they have everything and it can be released, but then their sensitivities get attacked when there's time to let go and release.
Yeah.
And that's why I wrote it down. It equals to not having lack and sensitivity from their earlier years. So they have too much attachment from things, and it's harder for them to just release it and let it go.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
My question was, yeah, in such situations, how do we deal with that? That's the thing. Like, we can explain, we can make them understand, but I don't know how to navigate through this whole process.
Yes. It's a difficult deal because somebody, when they have lived their entire life based on conditioning and attachments, for them, that is the pillar of their life. To tell them that they need to get out of it will not work. So one, we start operating from the center of love and not attachment. And hence, compassion for them will be an automatic result. And the moment you're compassionate for them, every behavior of them you will be able to see in a different light. The behavior will not be irritating. It will not be troubling. It will not be something that raises a lot of reaction in you, but you will be able to see where is this behavior coming on from. And so depending upon how much of time you can give and how much of energy you can at that moment, you can either choose to ignore or you can choose to have a conversation that it's okay, I understand. And please have faith. If not on anything, at least have faith on your upbringing. You have brought me up. So you also have taught me certain things. Have faith in that. And this is normally quite reassuring to them. They need reassurance, they need validation. Because what happens is the moment we start moving into the path of spirituality, our own being changes. You know, the reaction starts becoming, that starts dropping. One starts becoming more peaceful. A lot of things that you possibly used to react to, you stop doing all that. And then people around are, what has happened to her? This used to make so much of difference to her, but it is not making any difference to her right now. And this is very disturbing to them. In fact, I'll even go to an extent and say that there are people who would deliberately do things because they know that this disturbs you. Because they want you to get disturbed, because that is how they get the confirmation that you are still dependent on them. And hence the game of dependency and attachment is continuing. So they even deliberately do it. And then they see, oh my God, there is some difference. She is not speaking. It is not mattering to her. This is as if I did not do anything. And that is very disturbing to them. And then they ask a lot of questions. Why are you going there? Why are you doing this? You have changed. And it comes in a big way. And they are also looking for reassurance and validation. But then your being speaks a lot. They understand in some time that it's not that she is moving away or she has broken all the ties, but that she has become more peaceful and more centered. So there are good chances that it would rather inspire them to move on that path. And it happens. A lot of families I've seen, it's just one person who gets associated with some ashram, some guru or so, and behind him the entire family comes. This happens. But then it begins with who you are. So first thing to know is anything that you find is very dear to me, question why it is dear to you and just try and see if there is an attachment in that. And if there is an attachment, you find that, please know attachment is a very material thing. Attachment has no value. It's not like love. Love is something of far more value. Attachment is very small. Even when two Velcro strips come together, they get attached. It is so obvious. So depending upon the nature of things, the like and the opposite ones, they will get attached. It's a very material process. The dust gets attached to the surface of wood and things. And you see, after some time, if you have not been dusting every day, after some time, the dust doesn't seem to be going. It takes effort. So attachment is like how close you have been, for how long. With somebody you have not spent even a few minutes, the attachment will not be there. With somebody you have not associated your dreams, attachment will not be there. But the moment these things will come, the time and space thing, coming back to that, attachment is time and space. Depending upon how long or how less time you have spent with the stuff, the person or even belief, and what is the proximity? Are they very close to you? Are they being with you, or they are very distant apart? Depending upon that, the attachment, degree of attachment keeps varying. But with love, it's just love. There is no degree. It is just love. I will be genuine, authentic to somebody I don't feel aligned with, and I will be genuine, authentic with somebody I am aligned with also. But my expression of love will be different in both the cases. Because when you operate from the center of love, what is the final agenda? The agenda is help them realize and move to be spiritual. And both will need different treatment. Love does not come with a code of conduct. This is one thing we must remember. There is no code of conduct with love. There are a lot of times that you will see that you're slapping your child in love, not an ego. And there are so many times that you will end up slapping the child because of ego. And both the slapping will have different impact on the child. Just try and test it. Both the slap will have different impact on the child. The one which is coming from the center of ego, the child will get very irritated, will feel neglected, would like to stay away from you, would like to distance from himself or herself from you. The one which is coming from the center of love, you will see that the child will feel apologetic, is willing to say sorry, is willing to talk, is willing to converse, and bring in the necessary changes. Rather, the slap brings the child even more closer to you. Just because you're operating from two separate centers. Which is, one is coming from ego, the other is coming from not being my child. That goes away. And it's okay, it's a child, that's all. So it's a piece of furniture, it's just a belief, it's just a person, it's just a house. Nothing more. They serve their purpose and that's all. I connect with them in certain way. I take care of them out of love, not because they serve something to me, not because the furniture is actually talking of the standard of life I live. That is what it is showing. Just because I respect everything that is there in the existence. So I respect this piece of furniture. So I respect the pen, paper, whatever. So I respect people and all that. So everything at its right place in our mind. Not occupying place more than needed. Otherwise, we really end up giving so much of space to it. You think of those moments when you wanted to buy a furniture. The amount of time you spent in getting the right one. Just see how worth is that. Or forget furniture, that's still kind of one-time investment. A shirt, a suit, a dress material. And see the amount of time that one ends up spending going to shops, from one shop to other shop. The texture is not nice, the color is not nice, and so on and so forth. Is investing that much of time in that, is spending that much of time in that really worth? So the first question is, do I need the shirt? And the second question is, if I need, should I be spending so much of time to find one? I was actually, working with a person who is a memory coach. I forget things like crazy, especially the names, especially when I was in training. The entire day I've spent with 20 participants, I would not remember the name of two. So it used to be at times embarrassing because when you're going to the same organization twice, thrice, and they catch you, and then you can't remember, you can't recall anything. So I was generally talking, and he said, Richa, I only know one color or two colors, he said, in my life. No, I know only one color, which is black. So if I have to shop, I go to a shop and I'll pick up 3 black shirts. Isko pack kar do. And the shop wala will be saying, 3 shirts, tino black, tino ek jaise. And he said, yeah, I need 3 shirts because when one gets dirty, I need the second one to wear. I may not have all the time, every time to wash it. But I can't spend time in searching for a shirt and which color and if it how it looks on me, etc., etc., etc. That's such a crap spending time. If I'm using my mind space there, how do I use it in constructive things? Because the rule is mind has a limited energy. So you will have to choose where you want to spend it.
Yeah, that's why the saints and sannyasis and all, they wear one color only because they don't want to get attached to the colors or to choose or one type only, dhoti kurta or something they'll wear. So that shows one type of like they're not attached to
is
material.
Is there a need to really look for a full wardrobe? मेरे पास ऐसा भी ड्रेस होना चाहिए, वैसा भी ड्रेस होना चाहिए, ऐसे भी जूते चप्पल होने चाहिए, ऐसे भी एक्सेसरीज होने चाहिए. Take your call, because not just everything costs money which you earn by paying your life. And I think this is one thing very important to realize. Every time we earn something, we pay it through our life. So do you really need it? Why do you need it? Answer it for yourself and you will know. Because it's a decision, where do I want to spend my time? It's a very important decision, where do I want to spend my time? And it affects how the mind is getting conditioned. I become very uncomfortable if I have more than 5 sets of, if my wardrobe is too full, I just can't take it. I have to give away a few things. I have to make it empty. But I can't keep what I will not use. And when I started to work on this path, I remember there used to be so many such events. I would go to the shop thinking I want to buy this. And outside the shop, I'll think, do I really need it? Do I really need it? And I'll come back without buying. This happened, I think, for quite a few months before I got stabilized on, come on, I don't need it only. Forget it. And then when you reach this at this junction, wherein you're okay with less, then at times, if you really wish to go and get something, go and get it. It is no punishment like that. No spirituality says that you need to live like a miser. Not at all. This is a very false concept. It's not the fact, not the truth. No spirituality ever says that you need to live like a miser. It only says, please see what is your relationship with whatever. Is it coming from the space of attachment, love, compassion? Where? Ego? Where? That is all it says. And then you take a call. It's like this, that you can take a call. So if you want to work on attachment, the first thing is, whatever you feel emotional about, please check what is the emotion, where is the emotion coming from, and what is the message you are getting through the emotion. And then see if it is attachment. If it is attachment, become conscious what it is doing to you. And the moment you are conscious of what it is doing to you, getting rid of attachment is easy.
Initially, and hence getting rid of emotion.
Yeah.
It's easier to get rid of emotion when you just give awareness to it. It's not like what I have felt in my life, like emotion will still come. It's not that emotion will not come, but it is easier to get rid of that emotion faster if you just give a close look at it.
Give a close look at it and know that it is not important. Stop giving importance to it. We give lot of importance to it. The moment you know that, acha, theek hai, yaar, ye facade hai. And I always used to say in this in the emotional intelligence sessions I used to take, yeah, with emotions, I have come across two very interesting words. One is emotional blackmail. The other is emotional, what do you say? Fool. emotional fool and emotional blackmail. And I wonder that when people say that emotions are such an important thing, they make us human. How come one can be emotional fool or how can one be emotionally blackmailed? They don't go together. Because within, we all know that we are not emotions and they are just play of hormones. We all know this, but we are brought up in a way, and it comes from parents only to begin with. मैं तुम्हारी माँ हूं ना, तो मैं नहीं सोचूंगी तो कौन सोचेगा. अरे मुझे सब पता है, मैं तुम्हारी माँ जो हूं. Parents teach their kids what emotion is and how parents are important to them. Because at the end of the day, it's parents' selfish needs. They know when they will grow old, they want somebody to take care. ये कहीं बाहर तो नहीं निकाल देगा. Because they do not live a life of consciousness wherein they can be okay even till the end of life. Neither do they have any connect with their core. All that they are living is a material, superficial life. And so they need to protect their interest of old age. And so you will see such things coming up. So this is how you deal with attachment, but it will come with practice. It will not happen suddenly. And it will require deep honesty and some brutality towards yourself, because it's like a goody feeling which you have to let go. No, this is untrue, this is false, so kick it. Initially it feels like, come on here, my life is becoming so dry. No, the life is not becoming dry. It's just that we have learned to live in so much of noise that silence is troublesome. I remember this interesting joke. I don't know if it was a true incident or it is a joke. So it is said that there is these fishermen living between with the fishes and the smell of fishes.
Sir, the audio is not there, I think. Can't
Is the
hear
audio
you.
not
Is
there?
it from my side?
Everybody else?
Here.
Yeah. So Komalji, you will have to check.
Can't hear you.
So especially if you go to Bombay, during summers when the seashore declines because the water is evaporating, the smell of dead fish, that is very prominent. Those who are new to the place, I experienced it so strongly, and I used to tell this to my relatives, my God, what kind of smell is this? And they would laugh at me. They say, तुमको समझ में आ रहा है ये स्मेल, तुमको सूंघ रहा है, हमें तो पता ही नहीं चल रहा है, हमें आदत पड़ गई है इसकी, इसलिए हमको पता भी नहीं चल रहा है. So it is like that. The nose are so conditioned to that smell that now they are okay with that smell. So it is said that this fisherman who is used to be living with the fishes, he once goes to the
Are you? 1 minute.
people tell him a lot about this place wherein you get a lot of perfume and lot of wonderful fragrances. And listening to all this, he is so lured. He says, no, I must go there. What kind of fragrances are they talking of? And so he goes. And when he goes there, he suddenly faints. And everybody is bewildered. Oh my God, isko kya ho gaya? Why has he fainted? जितने तरह की पद्धतियां हैं सब लगा दो, इसको बचाओ, इसको उठाओ, पानी डालो and everything. सब कुछ किया गया. And there somebody recognized, अरे ये तो वही मछुआरा है. He says, oh no, you do not have to do all these things. Wait. This fellow goes and gets a stingy fish, brings it to the nose, and the fisherman gets up and says, now I feel okay. So that is a kind of conditioning. We are so full of noise that silence is very troubling in the beginning. We need to get in love with silence. We need to get in love with peace. We need to get in love with aloneness. People feel they find it so difficult to stay alone. I am lonely, I am lonely, I am lonely. Because we have no connection with ourselves. So these things tend to happen. And this is how you go ahead and treat the attachment challenge. Yeah. Any question in anybody's mind or anything you want to share, any experience or anything that you want, any comments you have?
I can share if we
Yeah.
have enough time. When you were talking about the incidents about that guy going and shopping for the same black shirts, and
Mm,
the answer why put your mind into this where we can use it in a productive way, it kind of came in my mind in a reversed way, which has already happened and kind of answered my question. Before I went on this path, years back, I used to, same thing, like clothes, shoes, everything is like, it's needed, you buy it and you're into it. And once slowly, years after years, when you get more into it, this path, somehow every time go to store, there's no desire to buy there. It's, in the beginning I used to think like, what is wrong with me, what happened to me? I used to question that. I even used to ask my teachers that. It's like, there's a person who can walk in a store and see something on sale, I'll buy like 5 different pairs of shoes for me, my kids. And now when I go there, it's nothing is appealing enough. Like, I can go in and walk out with nothing in my hand. And I used to think there's something wrong with me. And slowly, it's been years now, and I still go in the store. If I find something, it's okay. If not, it's okay too. But that desire is just disappeared. That attachment of wanting to buy something, it has disappeared. So you're right. It's the mind has taken over a different stuff now and using its energy some other important place that's important for me, that I am prioritizing, whereas the other needs, desires and attachments are slowly getting detached and dropping. So I could really resonate in a reversed way and kind of got
mm,
my answer. Whereas, it used to be like, am I, is there something wrong, or is, why is it happening? But I'm at peace, I'm okay, and it's okay to be like that. And yeah,
yeah,
it's okay sometimes if you feel like, and just splurging once in a while too. But there's no right or wrong. But yes, this is, I think, part of the journey when you're on it. It happens not knowingly, it just happens.
it is very interesting to see how people rush to vacations, destinations, 2 days or 3 days weekend. And here in India, I am in Delhi, and the nearby hill station, Shimla, Masuri, it's choked. Last time, because of lockdown, people couldn't go out. This time, the moment things opened up in summers, people stayed in their cars for the entire night because they did not get hotels, no rooms. And the hotel wala guy said, tomorrow morning, sir, I can give you because it is getting vacated. But right now we have no vacancy. And so these people decided to stay in the car. आज रात कार में गुजार लेते हैं, कल सुबह तो रूम मिल ही जाएगा. See the desperation and the traffic jams on those roads that stayed on for 8 hours, 10 hours. That long a jam to cross a stretch which would not take you more than 30 minutes, it took 8 hours. That was the kind of jam. And see what people have created. So it's not just about our individual life that we are responsible. With such kind of mindset, collectively, the kind of disastrous thing we create for this environment, the environment thing comes on to us only. Yet, the nature is not choosy on whom will it come up? Whosoever comes on its way, it comes on that. So I might go on vacation for 2 days, leave all the garbage there, create all the rubbish stuff there, create all kinds of pollution there, and come back. Who is going to get impacted? The one who is residing there. So there will be landslide during the monsoon, etc., etc. There will be flood. Who will be impacted? So nature does not choose, and that's where the importance of collective consciousness and collective destiny comes into picture very strongly. I remember some 3-4 years back, I went to Dharmshala, and when we went on trekking, there was entire arrangement for checking up the bags and how many polythenes you are carrying, and everything was being noted, because they wanted to ensure that all that you are taking up, you have to bring that down. That has to be tallied. You can't leave the garbage out there. And if you are carrying any Bluetooth speaker or such devices, and especially the big ones which could be seen, they all were being kept at that particular place only. That when you come back, you pick it up and take it, but you can't take it uphill. Why? Because that's a place wherein the nature is at its best. There is so much of peace. The quality of air over there is very different. And people go there, they camp throughout the night, they throw all the garbage, and the sound that they create, the pollution that is created, it would scare all the wild animals. It was disturbing the entire wildlife, flora and fauna. Because these sounds, vibrations are even going to the trees. And see how insensitive we are. And what we are bothered about is our pleasure. We want to enjoy, and we have our definition of enjoyment. And despite all these arrangements, I used to see that a few people would take away the Bluetooth small devices. They would actually hide them in the inside of the bag, some cabinets, etc. That high would be the insensitivity. You want to trek in peace, you want to just go up, you want to walk and be more aware about the leaves, the wind, the nature, the entire environment. And here somebody is playing all those numbers, item numbers and things like that. So you do not have any right to stay peaceful. So it's not just about our individual peace. It's a collective thing that we are creating every time. You know, it will be, I don't know if you know this or not, but clothes are the second biggest pollutant on earth. We don't realize this. We do not consume cotton all the time or handling stuff. A whole lot of polyester contains plastic. And the way we tend to throw them, you buy and you throw, wear it 2 times, you give it, donate, etc., etc. The kind of pollution it is creating, it is humongous. But we do not realize that. We still are okay wearing those polyesters and all kind of mixed stuff. So a sensitivity is needed because it finally all comes back to us. That's one. And secondly, when this nature sustains us, there is a duty, responsibility to give it back the same love, if not more. And so it becomes important to be sensitive. The kind of consumerism that we have got into in our heads, it has literally worsened the matter. It has worsened the matter like anything. And that's where, with the kind of consumerism, we have got into the concept of my standards of living, my drawing room, and so all that we buy, and so all that we demand, all that is produced. And you go into a shop wherein you have a lot of gift items, interior items, and you see how you are pulled towards all that. Ye kitna sundar hai, wo kitna sundar hai. Many times we end up buying nothing but see the amount of time that we have spent and see the amount of energy that we have spent there. So some sensitivity towards all that is needed. And the moment you get rid of attachment, at least attachment starts becoming dilute, starts becoming easy with the kind of grip it had on you, you will see the number of times that you are going to the malls, that reduces. Number of times that you're wanting to be the party person, that reduces. Number of things that you want in your house, that reduces. You become okay with what is, as long as it is taking care of the need. And that's a great relaxation. It's a great easiness. And what easiness it is, I cannot tell you. You will have to experience it for yourself. Yeah. Okay. So let's, shall we then begin the rest of the part of the Sarvopanishad, or there is any question or something, because it's half an hour left to be 9 o'clock. Anything that you want to be discussed, we can look at that. Any question arising? Any experience you wish to share? Nothing? So we looked at the Panchakosha in our last session. Now, the Upanishad is coming to the part of Karta. Starting from the Anandamaya Kosha, what it said about that. When these 4 sheets remain in their own cause, which is knowledge or Brahma, here being referred as, in the same way as the latent banyan tree remains in the banyan seed, then it is spoken of as the Anandamaya Kosha, the causal frame of the soul. So what causes the Atman to manifest or to take the shape of manifestation is it now wants to experience Ananda. And then it goes ahead and says, when it dwells in the body, what dwells in the body? The soul or the Atman dwells in the body as the seat of the idea of pleasure and pain. So it has become the center of the idea of pleasure and pain. Now see, the Upanishad is not saying that pleasure and pain are real. It is saying that they are just an idea in the mind. That's where the idea resides. Then it is the Karta or the agent. So who is the Karta? The one who dwells between pleasure and pain, the one who is all the time seeking pleasure and all the time wanting to go away from the pain. The Upanishad goes ahead and very beautifully explains the idea of pleasure is that which pertains to wished for objects. The idea of pleasure is that which pertains to wished for objects. So all that I wish for, when I get those, then pleasure comes into picture. I experience pleasure. And the idea of pain is that which pertains to undesirable object. And hence, pleasure and pain are not absolute. They are not even the facts, forget truth. What I will feel pleasure in, you might find it painful. And what is painful for you, I might find pleasure in that. And take the crude example, one of the most superficial. I remember I was in Calcutta for a training session 2 years back, just before pandemic. And I was sitting with my team. And in Calcutta, because they serve fish with every meal, breakfast, lunch, dinner, fish, one piece of fish has to be there. So there was this lady who told me, said that in a general discussion, she said, I don't think I can ever leave fish because of my love for it. And I looked at her and I said, I can never eat fish for the same reason, because of my love for the fish. It's just that you love the dead fish and I love the zinda fish. That's the only difference. Both love fish, but for different reasons. So what is pleasurable for her is very painful for me. And what is pleasurable for me is painful to her. If I start teaching her that you should not be eating non-vegetarian food, etc., she will say, what crap, Richa, this is the love of my life. I can't even have good food, yeah, come on. What am I living for? And this is how people react. This is how people answer. Come on, yaar, zindagi mein acha khaye bhi nahi to kya? What kind of life is that? So, where are they living? What's the center of their living? What would be the quality of their living? And please know, in such places where your pleasure pain duality is operating full swing, suffering is inevitable. Suffering may be subtle. One may not have it pronounced. For suffering to become pronounced, one only need a situation. That's all. एक सिचुएशन आएगी, एक न्यूज मिलेगा, बस एक समाचार चाहिए और आप फिर कष्ट देखिए. हिल जाते हैं लोग, सेंटर खो जाता है, एंकर खो जाता है. Just one news. And that one news tells what has been the quality of your life. That one news tells what is the quality of your mind. That one news says at what level of consciousness are you living. So people who look very good, and especially with Facebook, I remember talking to my sister and she was saying, why is there any pain in their life? Look at the kind of photographs she posts. They go to so much of trips. You always find them outstationed. There are such lovely pics. I don't get to go to any outstation place. I said, Racha, is that your deciding factor of their happiness? You have no clue of the unhappiness that they have. But I know because I'm a kind of counselor to them. So we judge by the cover of the book. But let me tell you, inside every book, the lesson is the same. You have to become conscious of your suffering if you want to come out of suffering. And till the time you are living unconsciously, you may not experience suffering very loudly, boldly, pronouncedly, but suffering is there. Don't at all think that it is not there. So the Rishi says that, and always remember, all this pleasure and pain is happening if there is a karta. If there is no karta, the doer, then the pleasure pain dichotomy goes away. Now, how one experiences that pleasure pain? The Rishi goes ahead to say that sound, touch, sight, taste, and smell, the five senses, they are the cause of pleasure and pain. So, till the time I'm only living in titillation, till the time I'm only living in what gives pleasure to my eyes, what do I love listening to, what do I love tasting, what do I love experiencing, and such things, everything, all the information that is coming through the five senses, pleasure and pain will be there, very, very pronounced. And then goes ahead and says, when the soul confirming itself to good and bad actions. So now the Atman has got associated to the Karta, which is the good and bad action. When it has made a link of the present body with its past body and is seen to be effecting a union, a connection as it were, with the body not yet received, then it is called the jiva or individual soul, on account of its being limited by upadhis. Now, this is something that will need a little understanding, little deeper understanding. The Rishi is saying that Atman, till the time remains free of pleasure and pain, stays detached to all that, it is then pure. But the moment it forgets who it is and becomes one with the I-ness. So what is happening? The mind, which was actually surrendered to the Atman, is now becoming the master to the Atman. And the moment it becomes the master, there is the first attachment that happens is with the body. And now a connection is being established. A connection is being established between what? Between the present body with its past body. Now, this can be looked in two lights. This can be looked in the typical light. The moment we say past body, we never mean this body in this life in some time past, but past life. That's the immediate thing that strikes the mind. But past body is even the body that was 1 hour ago, a body that was 10 years ago, a body that was 7 years ago. You remember if we had this discussion some time back wherein we said that as a child, we have done a lot of things which were mischievous, the results of which still exist. So if you meet a childhood friend and the friend said, I am angry with you because you did this when we were in class 7th. And then you say, come on, you are still in class 7th. I grew up. I remember this movie, Kareena Kapoor and Shahid Kapoor, Jab We Met. And when she's telling the story to Shahid Kapoor at her house, early in the morning, sitting in the tractor in the fields, and she says that with the guy she was supposed to get engaged, there is a story, and the story is कि बचपन में हम लोग घर घर खेलते थे और मैं हमेशा उसकी पत्नी बनती थी और मैं उसे कहती थी ए जी आप दूध पिएंगे जी and all that. And then after that she says, Shahid Kapoor says, what happened then after? He said, और उसके बाद मैं बड़ी हो गई पर वो लोग अभी भी वही हैं और अब वो मेरी engagement कराना चाहते हैं उसके साथ. So it is like that. The body that was even half an hour ago, few minutes ago, 5 years ago, some time ago, when we still connect with that as my body, there is this connection, then we are living in the world of ego. We are living in the world of pleasure and pain. And because this connection with the past is very much alive for us, hence the connection with the older body, the body which will happen in time, in future, that also will remain. If only this connection of the past is cut, then this connection in the future also will be cut. If one is dwelling in past, one will dwell in future. To be in the moment, both past and future must go. Both the legs of the duality must go. Only one part of duality never goes. That is why duality is a beautiful way of looking at things, wherein you know that they look opposite, but they are actually complementary. They are like the two sides of the same coin. They have to be together. If one goes, the other automatically goes. So if that connection with the whole past is there, which means the karta bhav is quite alive, which means the ego is dwelling, and we feel so responsible for each and every act. And hence we stay binded in the whole action karma philosophy, the action and the result philosophy. We stay binded in that. And we do not get rid of that. And so the Rishi says that when this happens, then what you currently know as Atman, that reduces to be the Jiva. Not because the Atman is no more there, but because now there will be no awareness of Atman. All that you would know would be the Jeev or the individual soul. So this whole soul story, which is active, please know it is about the individual soul, and individual soul is nothing but a beautified terminology for ego, nothing else. On account of its being limited by upadhis. Upadhis are the different identities given to the ego, associated with the ego. And this is the food of ego. This is what ego thrives on. This is how the ego gets its nurturing. More the identity, stronger is the nurturing. More is the ego. And bigger is the identity in terms of the societal image, stronger would be the ego. I was once talking to a trainer friend of mine, and he said, Richaji, you know, very interesting. I meet so many trainers. They all claim to be egoless, but I find maximum ego in them. This is how it happens. Being egoless is another ego statement. So in my society, there are some fights going on. So yesterday it so happened that in one of the groups, somebody removed somebody from being an admin. And the person questioned, why am I being removed from the admin status? Do you have a problem if I stay an admin? What will I do if I stay an admin? Am I going to jeopardize you? And all such things came. And finally, after the trails of messages, I just made one statement. I said, admin is not admin. Admin is an ego state. And I have seen that people really get very, very angry in many groups the moment their admin status is taken away. So if somebody makes me admin of any group, even by mistake, it's a headache to me. And after that, the entire admin fight got stopped. Nobody questioned about admin even this much. Because now it is being openly associated to the ego state. And who likes to be called as an egoistic? But that's what the fact is. We don't even recognize, we don't even realize that through different labeling, ego is getting nurtured. बस बहुत सारी अलग अलग सुंदर सुंदर नाम चाहिए जो सुनने में इतने अच्छे लगते हैं, और उसके नीचे छोटा सा ईगो जो कि डरा हुआ है, जो कि फियरफुल है, वो पनप रहा है और बड़ा हो रहा है. और उसमें जितना और प्लेजर डालोगे वो उतना स्ट्रांग होता जाएगा, और वो जितना स्ट्रांग होता जाएगा वो बिल्कुल ब्रिटल है, वो टूटेगा. दुख उसकी नियति बन जाती है. दुख उसकी नियति है. Then the Rishi goes ahead to say the 5 groups are those beginning with the mind. So the mind has man, buddhi, chitta and ahankara. Those beginning with the prana. So we have all the 5 vayus: prana vayu, apana vayu, udana vayu, samana vayu, and one more vayu. Those beginning, and then there are another 5 set of vayus. Those beginning with the sattva. So you have the 3 gunas, 3 nature, which is sattva, rajas and tamas. Those beginning with the will. Will is, and will has some very interesting associations. So what are the ones, the upadhis that will brings in? The will group consists of, so will in Hindi is, we call as इच्छा शक्ति. So इच्छा शक्ति के अंग क्या क्या हैं? इच्छा शक्ति के अंग हैं the will power, मेरी कितनी strong ये शक्ति है. Desire, resolve, how much am I willing to do things for it. And then there is doubt, there is longing, there is unbelief, there is satisfaction, there is want of satisfaction, there is shyness, fear and imagination. These are the parts of the will group, the subset of the will group. And those beginning with merit. Similarly, merit group has the punya, the papa, the knowledge one has, and the sanskara that one has. Sanskara is the physical conditioning that we come along with. Yeah. So these are various types of upadhis that will come to us, in which ego thrives. Then the Rishi says the ego possessing the attributes of these 5 groups does not die out without the knowledge of the ever attained self. So till the time the knowledge of ever attained self, self with the capital S, happens to the ego does not die. And the moment the ego realizes this definition, this knowledge, the ego dies, because now all that remains is the Atman. Now each of these group, actually we can go further and decode it further. We can actually try and understand the meaning of each word and how it is feeding ego. That which, owing to its proximity to the self, appears as imperishable and is attributed to Atman, is called the Linga Sharira, or the subtle body. So subtle body is closest to the Atman. So 3 bodies are talked of: the causal body, the subtle body and the gross body. And it appears as imperishable. Again, the Rishi is not saying it is not imperishable. It says that it appears as imperishable and is attributed to Atman. A lot of people end up confusing it with Atman. That is called the subtle body, and the heart's not. The consciousness which manifests itself therein is called the Kshetragya, knower of the Kshetra, which is the body. In Bhagavad Gita, there is an entire chapter dedicated to the concept of Kshetragya and the Kshetra and Kshetragya. So what is the Kshetra? Kshetra is the body through which we operate. Kshetragya is the whole, the consciousness that manifests. So to what extent is our reach? Our reach is to the extent of consciousness that we have. So the moment this Kshetragya expands and expands and expands and expands and merges in infinity or becomes infinite, it attains realization and hence then Atman reveals. That's where it comes into Bhagavad Gita. Anything here that needs more contemplation, more discussion, or any question coming up to anyone? Are we all there?
Yes, Richa. Yeah, it's clear.
Okay. So
Yeah.
with this, the second shloka ends, and the third one is the third. There's another one big shloka that we will do in our next session, the coming Friday, and we will then finish the Sarvopanishad. Oh no, there are 4 shloka. There are 2 more shloka, but they're all very intensive in themselves. So we'll look at them. Hopefully, maximum 2 more sessions, and if we're able to do it in 1 session, good. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, anything that you want to discuss, or shall we say the Shanti part?
There was a word called lingam here. Lingam.
Linga
Linga.
Sharir, that is the Hindi
What is that?
terminology. That is the Hindi terminology for subtle body.
Subtle body.
Subtle body is also called as Linga Sharir.
I was just connecting it with Shiv Lingam, like and I am not able to understand why that is worshipped. ऐसे ही mind में आ गया कि उससे क्या connection है, कि why is that worshipped?
That is worshipped
If
because of
anything,
the. That is worshipped because of the connection with the Prakriti and Purush. The moment you get into the Sankhya Yoga, it talks of there is Purush, which is the Atman. That's a word which has been used for Atman, which is unmovable, non-doer, जो कुछ करता नहीं है, जो अनिकेत है, और जो चैतन्य भी नहीं है, क्योंकि अवेयरनेस में है तो आप उसको चैतन्य होने की आवश्यकता नहीं है. और फिर उसकी एसोसिएशन में आती है प्रकृति. प्रकृति वो है जो पुरुष को अस्तित्वगत बनाती है. इट ब्रिंग्स इट इनटू एग्जिस्टेंस. जो वैरायटी हम देखते हैं, वैविधता हम देखते हैं, that is because of Prakriti. So Prakriti is capable of bringing Purush to take lot of forms, names and forms, and hence from one it becomes again many. So without the Prakriti, the Purush is very the primordial sound kind of thing, which is not doing anything, which is silent. That is what Prakriti is. And so that is what is that Purush is. So Shiva Lingam is nothing but actually a depiction of the Prakriti and Purush coming together. Yeah. So that's the beginning of the universe, of life, of this whole Brahmand, the cosmos. Without the Prakriti coming together with Purush,
we can say like but everybody has to merge into that Atman only. So
yes.
that is why it's worshipped, right?
So we all are
Even if
Prakriti
we
Rupa only.
have Prakriti, but we need to merge into that. So that's why that symbol is worshipped. Oh, thank you.
Okay. So let's say the Vidya, you have something to say? Share?
No, I'm running short on time today, but yes,
No,
I will
okay.
text you.
Sure.
Thank you.
So let's do the prayer and then we close the session. Just sit straight and close your eyes, and if you know, you can chant it along with me. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः Okay.